In this lesson, we are going to find the volume and surface area of cylinders. So our volume formula is the area of the base times the height, which in this case, since it's a circle, is going to be pi r squared times the height. Surface area is going to be 2 times pi r squared because we have two circles, and then it's going to be 2 pi r h because it's the circumference times the height. So here we go. Radius of this first one is 4. Get my pen working, there we go. And the height is 10 of the figure. So right here, volume pi times 4 squared times 10. So if we want this in terms of pi, we would go ahead and do the 4 squared, which is 16, and take that times 10. So this is 160 pi if we want it in terms of pi. If it asks for rounding, then you would go ahead and actually multiply those and then go ahead and round to whatever tenths or hundredths, whatever it wanted after that. And then it is meters cubed because it's volume. And then over here is going to be 2 pi times 4 squared plus 2 pi times 4 times 10. And then we're going to go ahead and multiply 16 times 2 is going to be 32 pi here. Over here is going to be 4 times 10, which is 40, times 2, which is 80 pi. And then if we add 80 and 32, it's 112 pi meters squared, and 112 times pi is going to be 351.9 meters squared. So not sure which one, but it's nice to be able to calculate both in terms of pi as well as to the nearest tenth. So up here, when a solid is not a right solid, meaning it's kind of slanted, we use Cavaliere's principle to find the volume. And it just states if two solids have the same height and the same cross-sectional area at every level, then it will have the same volume. So we're going to treat it just like we would a normal right. But in this case, it looks like we do need to find the height because we have kind of this slanted one. So we need the perpendicular height. So if we have 13 for its kind of hypotenuse and we have 5 for one leg, we want to figure out what that other leg is. So we're going to go ahead and subtract 25 from 13 squared, which is 169. So subtracting that is going to be a 144, and then we do the square root. So square root, so 12 is the height. The radius is 4 because this is the diameter, so it's half that. So then we would go ahead and plug in our information. So we want to take 16 times 12, and it's 192 pi, or again, we can go ahead and multiply that times pi and get 603.2 inches cubed for volume. For surface area, 2 pi times 4 squared plus 2 pi times 4 times 12. And so 16 times 2, right here, 32 pi, plus 4 times 12 times 2, 96 pi. So 96 plus 32, 128 pi, or that would be multiplying to get 402.1, and that would be inches squared. So the volume backwards is going to be plugging it into our formula, pi r squared h, and that's going to equal volume. So instead of volume, we're going to put 3,600 pi is equal to pi r squared h. Now we can go ahead and divide by the pi's. That's just going to cancel the pi's. So we know that the radius squared times the height, which actually we have the height, so we forgot to replace that. So we can go ahead and divide by 16 to get the radius squared alone. And that's going to be 225 is equal to the radius squared. And then we want to do the square root of that. Square root of that. So radius is equal to 15. And the diameter is just going to be double that, so 30. And it's centimeters.